What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy, Faithful to God, and I am up early in the morning with my friend Abu, and we are going to be doing an addendum to our last live stream in which we critically examined a interview that Banaya Israel and We Woke Now did on the controversial geneticist Eran Elhaik. Well, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my friend Abu. Say hello to the audience.
Good morning to everybody. I'm chiming in from New York City.
That's right.
I
Good
imagine
old New
some
York
of our
City.
yeah, I imagine some of our viewers might be in other parts of the world this morning.
Absolutely. Well, if you could you give people a brief overlay of what we're going to be discussing specifically? Like I gave them, just an abridged, just quick, you know, synopsis. But if you could let them know in a little bit more detailed fashion, just a little bit, not too long, what we're going to be discussing precisely, uh, and
Okay.
the backdrop to this particular addendum.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the backdrop to it is uh, Kelly Richardson and Benayah Israel interviewing Eran Elhaik, and basically their interview was like an infomercial for Eran Elhaik's platform, his website, Ancient DNA Origins, and they seemed to like it because they saw it as an opportunity to jab at the Ashkenazi community. So what we're going to discuss today is how Ashkenazim score on that platform against the backdrop of Kelly and Banaya suspiciously embargoing their own results from that platform. And so, if it's okay with you, I figure we can jump right in. I'll give a little bit of background history. All right. I guess I'll just
Yeah,
jump right.
absolutely. Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
So jumping right in, just to give something that's relevant here. Last November, Will Brown from the Boom Church was likewise promoting Elhaik's ancient DNA origin site. Before Kelly and Banaya did it recently, but back in November and December, Will Brown did so first. And Brown showed like these fragmentary screenshots that seemed to hint at connections, genetic connections with Jewish populations. However, some suspected that Brown might have been misrepresenting his results. Although, to be fair to him, it was from that perspective, it was possible that he was not necessarily doing that in an intentional way. But whatever the case, luckily, fortunate for us, Yeshub from the Yap Gang was willing to show the results that he received from El Hayek's platform. And it was hypothesized that Yeshub might be similar enough to Brown autosomally that his results could serve as a sort of proxy or model from which one might like infer what Brown's results likely were. Because Brown was only showing hints of his results, but Yeshub showed his results in full. And we were thinking, maybe Yeshub's results give us an indication of what Brown got. Now, Yeshub openly showed that El Hayek's platform listed him as 0% Israelite. And shortly thereafter, we learned that the hypothesis I just mentioned was correct. And with that in mind, if you could pull up the Brown's results. But as you're doing that, what we learned
Yeah.
that the hypothesis I mentioned was correct, as Brown then became very open and transparent about his own results. And he showed that just like Yeshub, he was also declared by El Hayek's platform to be quote unquote 0% Israelite. So while I'll wait for you to put the results up,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to give the disclaimer that this is not intended as a jab at Will Brown. I don't think having 0% autosomally Israelite on El Hayek's platform necessarily says anything about his paternal lineage or anything like that. So, I'm not saying this means Brown necessarily isn't an Israelite. I don't know what he is, but it's just we're talking about what sort of scores Yeshub and Brown got on the platform.
Of course. Yeah.
And by the way, I also want to say, while we wait for you to pull the image up, I appreciate Brown being so transparent with his results, and that was the thing. But yeah, that main thing here, though, again, is that Yeshub's results, it was assumed, it was hypothesized that Yeshub's results, because Yeshub was very open with his results, could serve as yes, here we go. So these are Brown's results. This is what Brown got back in November when he took, I think it was the Tribe of Issachar kit. He took the test with the Tribe of Issachar kit on uh, El Hayek's platform, and he got listed as 0%
Ooh.
Israelite.
Oh,
No
just
problem.
skip.
We'll just go
Wait, hold
back.
on.
Yeah,
Let me.
we'll be
Let me
getting to that soon enough.
yeah. Let me. Let me actually do this over.
No problem.
All right. No how. All right. But yeah, continue what you were saying.
Well, no. So I mean, it's okay. I mean, you could show it just for posterity. We showed this in the previous discussion. The point is that Brown got 0% Israelite, as we see here. There, yeah, it's right there, 0%
There you go.
Israelite. And again, I'm not intending this as a knock against Brown. I appreciate him being
There,
so
there
open with
goes
his
your
results.
people right above, right
Yeah,
there.
he got 0% that. Yeah, which is interesting. And then there's a lot to be said about this. I mean, I think people are free to criticize it because, Brown also got listed as like 99% Neolithic African or Stone Age
Yeah,
African,
right up here.
and there's a question there about what's happening with his European admixture. My guess is that perhaps the platform is somewhat low resolution in how it reads like third party results, from like say 23andMe or something like that. I'm sorry, if I could I just look at Orthodox Moore's thing. He says, I'm still trying to figure out how Yeshua got. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly. So my speculation about that is that perhaps it was. Perhaps it's low resolution, but one gentleman I was speaking with says that it may be the case that when you transfer your raw data from 23andMe over to Elhaik's platform may be struggling with it. And I'm even hearing rumors that people who transferred both their raw data from 23andMe and Ancestry got somewhat different results, sometimes with like swings of like 10 points and stuff like that, but whatever the case. But anyway, so having said that, right, that was the whole thing with using Yeshua's results to infer Brown's results, and then the hypothesis being proven true as it turned out that Brown did get the same results as Yeshua. Now, fast forward roughly 8 months later to just this past July, two of Will Brown's cousins, and perhaps it's important to note that they're family members because they may have some genetic proximity or similarity to Brown. Or maybe it could be argued they might even be closer to Will Brown autosomally than Yeshua is. But two of Will Brown's cousins, Benayah Israel and Kelly Richardson from the We Woke Now channel, have likewise started promoting it on the Elhaik's platform, as I mentioned earlier. But unlike Brown, however, neither Banaya nor Kelly have shown their results yet. But Kelly did make this vague allusion to getting 15% in the site's Tribe of Levi kit. So if we can, as I understand it, you're going to pull up the clip that we showed last time
Yeah,
of
just
Kelly
one
alluding
moment.
to his results. No problem.
Yeah.
So as you're getting that, I'll just sort of introduce this. Uh, you know, Kelly, so Brown got 0% Israelite, but Kelly said, I got 15%, but he didn't say what he got 15% in. And he didn't show his results. And so, we're about to see that. And we showed this in the last discussion. We just want to show this one more time to have it just to set the context. Because if someone vaguely says, I got 15%, the question is 15% what, And that's what we'll be looking at. And then there's going to be a question about, being that Kelly and Banaya are not showing the results, is there a way that we might uh, infer what they likely got? So I think that's the big question here as well. But okay, here we go. Oh, so we're gonna jump to clip 4. It's jump to like the 2-minute 17-second mark. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I thought the link would take you there automatically. Sorry about that. So it's gonna be clip 4. There you go. There you go. All right, we'll play it from here.
And I appreciate it. And to Benayah's point, I went to your site, the Ancient DNA Origins, and I actually purchased the entire package for, to get everything, all the results. And I did see, and I know it's going through some upgrades and changes along the way, but I did see, for example, a connection, for example, to the Levites, and can you kind of share a little more information on that? Because I did see the Levites, and I know early on I saw some of the other tribes, but some of them kind of disappeared, but the Levites are there. So can you shed some light on that?
Absolutely. So first, you didn't disclose what similarity you had, and I respect that. It's your results. I can only share that some members of the community emailed me, and they said they have 20% Levite.
Yeah, I think mine was 15%.
Okay, if you could pause it right there. Yeah, so now thank you for that, by the way. Now, like I said, unfortunately, Kelly didn't clarify if he meant that he got 15% Israelite in the general categories, because he just said 15%, or if he got a 15% similarity with an individual sample, right? And this is an important distinction.
Right.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry, you're going to say something?
No, I said right.
Okay. And now, once again, so here it is. Kelly is making vague allusions to his results without showing them, as Elhaik said, and Banaya didn't show his results or even allude to them, right? So how do we know what they got? I would love to see them. Well, just as with Will Brown before, once again, Yeshub has stepped in, purchasing the tribe of Levikit, right? And Yeshub showed his results in full detail, right? And just as was done with Will Brown, me personally, I'm guessing you're on board with this. I'm going to attempt to get a sense of what Kelly's results likely look like, based on Yeshub's results. So, as I understand it, you're going to be pulling up the next image. But what I'll say is that
Say
oh
that
no,
one more
I'm sorry. The
time.
next video. You're about to pull up the clips, right? So I'm just introducing it. I'm saying what it's the compilation of clips. So just for the audience, we're going to show a compilation of relevant clips from Yeshub's presentation, right? And afterwards, we're going to look at some relevant stills, like some I guess screenshots from that presentation, from this compilation, and we're going to discuss them in more detail, right? Now, this entire compilation is going to run for a little over 3 minutes. And as you watch this, you're going to see that Yeshub, as he shows his results in the general categories, and then he's going to show how he matches with a certain individual sample or multiple individual samples, and then he's going to compare that. He's going to show how he compares to the modern populations. That's also an option. And then he's going to show how one of the individual samples scored across those same general categories. And then, like I said, after the clip, we'll elaborate on the details. Yeah, I see you have it up now, so let's go ahead and play that.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me
No problem.
Yeah. Yep. Let me just put this in full screen.
And just for everybody else, is going to run for 3 minutes.
Bro.
All right, my results. Drum roll, please. Let's see. I'm still 99.2%. What was it supposed to do again? Oh, there we go. Down here. I forgot this part. Okay. Genetic similarity to the tribes of Israel, Levi. So I guess this is what they're raving about here. Hophni. 14% genetic similarity. Pesha, Aviva, Bakka, Harun, Sered, Adah. See, genetic similarity to the tribes of Levi. The left chart shows in black your highest genetic similarity to the ancient individuals in the test, and your average genetic similarity to all the individuals in the test.
Hey, so Boo, this is probably what Kelly was talking about. He had a 15% connection or something. It's probably on this part here.
Yeah. So Kelly, if you're watching, what was that 86% of? Who are those people in the 86th percentile region here? Hey, did they go to this part right here? Hold on, the worldwide results or whatever, population-wide results.
They may have. I didn't see them.
So I'm about 15% or 14% similar to that one individual. A Bedouin from Israel is 48% similar. From a Jordanian is 47% similar, and a Palestinian is 46% similar. So did they just ignore all this shit here? See Turkey? Yeah, that's Turkey behind too. Yeah, Druze, Turkey, Ashkenazi, Jew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the it's right here. 39% is higher than my percentage, so therefore they are more Jew or Israelite than I could ever be.
Yo.
See, y'all never fair and across the board with this shit. Y'all always come up with these ideas like, oh, well, this proves we're Israelites. Okay, what about these other groups? They have a very high similarity to which makes sense because they're in that region. What was the one that matched up? So that was the closest to again. What was the name of her? Hophni.
Yeah, Hophni. Yeah.
H. Oh, haplogroup. This is a male.
Oh
Why
wow.
haplogroup T2?
Yo, they basically saying Levi is a whole haplogroup T in this piece, man.
So why does it say Neolithic Southeast African at 32%?
Okay. Thank you, by the way, for showing that clip. So,
All right.
first things first. Like if we could, I want to pull up the screenshot that we have of what Yeshub got in the general categories. And now, just while Faithful's pulling that up, I just want to say again that last late fall, early winter. Late fall, basically. Just to remind people, Will Brown initially didn't show his full results. We hypothesized that Yeshub's results probably could serve as an accurate proxy to get a sense of what Will Brown got, and that wound up being proven correct because Brown's results. Brown became very transparent with his results, and indeed they matched exactly what Yeshub got. And so now we're making a similar hypothesis, and we're saying that we think Yeshub's results can serve as a proxy for inferring what Banaya and Kelly got. So, for example, Kelly said he got 15% in something, and as we saw, Yeshub got 14%, but it wasn't 14% Israelite. He was listed as quote unquote 0% Israelite, but it was 14% match against an individual sample. And these are Yeshub's general results. This is with the tribe of Levi kit, and you see it lists him as 99% Neolithic Southeast African, and it lists him as 0% Israelite. And now, if we can we switch over to the population-wide results?
Yeah. One moment.
No problem, and that'll be the next image. And we're going to see how the population-wide results. If you, the hypothetical you, anyone in the audience, if you take this kit, the population-wide results allows you to see how you stack up against other modern populations. And we're about to see how then they have these different tabs like Mideast, Northeast Africa, and they have a Turkey tab, and the Turkey tab is where the Ashkenazi. Yes, okay. So these are so you see on the left, there's a column marked me all the way on the left, and that me column is Yeshub's results, his 14% against a particular sample. And then the one that's marked Ashkenazim, that's that fourth one from the left, they got 39%. As you heard Yeshub say in the clip, the Ashkenazi average, and that's what this is. The Ashkenazi average is significantly larger than what Yeshub got, and I would have to think it's significantly larger than what Kelly got. But again, Kelly didn't show his results. But,
Indeed.
as I was saying, if that me column, you only get that if you get a meaningful percentage on one of Elhaik's kit. Then you get that column marked me. But getting back to Yeshub, there's a question that needs to be raised here, right? And this also applies to Kelly. But if Yeshub got 0% Israelite, why does he have a column for 14% here, right? That's a legitimate question. And as we saw in the compilation of clips, that 14% refers to how he matched up with an individual sample. But then that raises another question. If Yeshub, or let's say Kelly, got 0% Israelite, how are they getting 14% or 15% match with a sample in the tribe of Levi kit? And that's where this next still comes in. This is the one Levi kit Hofni sample. We'll have that up in a moment. And so the question that we're going to explore is how does someone get listed as quote unquote 0% Israelite, yet they're getting a percentage match with an individual sample within an Israelite tribal kit? Okay, so this is the results for Hofni, which Yeshub showed. And you'll notice that, when I guess we'll say, but when the samples are measured against those same categories that Yeshub was measured against, they're not simply getting listed as 100% Israelite. Rather, Elhaik's platform treats those samples too as having other non-Israelite admixtures. And so the percentage that one scores in common with an individual sample, it can, from the perspective of Elhaik's platform, that can pertain to the sample's non-Israelite admixture. And like, for example, you see there, you see that Neolithic Southeast Africans, it has 32%. And so that's how he could match, even though Yeshub has 0% Israelite, he could still match up with the Hofni sample in other ways. Now, having said that, so far we've seen Yeshub's results, and I'm proposing that Yeshub's results likely reflect what Kelly got, but we don't know for certain because Kelly has embargoed his results. He hasn't shown them, and likewise Banaya hasn't shown his results. But Yeshub's results served as a proxy for how Brown's results came out, and so I do think that Yeshub's results likely reflect Kelly and Banaya's results as well. But with that in mind, now the question is about Ashkenazim, right?
Right.
Exactly. And we actually have a friend who's an Eastern Ashkenazi, and he actually scored quite high on the Elhaik's tribe of Levi kit. And he was
Wait a
kind
minute.
enough.
Can you say that one more time? Because I want that. Repeat that one more time for everybody, just in case they didn't catch it.
Yes.
What you
So a
just
friend of ours who's Ashkenazi, specifically quote unquote Eastern Ashkenazi, as they say, uh, he scored quite high on Elhaik's tribe of Levi kit, right? And I want to make this clear. You saw that 39% that Ashkenazim in general got. That's an average result. It's my understanding that some Ashkenazim are scoring lower than 39% and some are scoring higher. And we want to show a particularly dramatic example of an Ashkenazi who did particularly well. And because he was kind enough to share his results with us. And so we'd like to show what he got, and Faithful's going to bring that up. And while we wait for that, the point of this is again, Kelly and Banaya, they got excited about Elhaik's platform because Elhaik's position is basically that Ashkenazim are too distant from Israelites. Here we go. Okay. And excuse me, I'm really sorry about that. Now, as we're looking at this, you see that 48% Israelite this particular person got. That's quite interesting. Although, also note, just full disclosure, um, this gentleman also got 0% Yamnaya, and he told me that he thinks similar to how certain African Americans are getting quote unquote 99% Neolithic African. This might be a resolution issue or a failure for the platform to fully read the raw data from other platforms. Who knows? But nonetheless, you see, he got 48.3%. Now, I just want to say again as a disclaimer, different Ashkenazim are getting different scores on Elhaik's platform. I just mentioned that. But we
right.
wanted to show, as I said, the particularly dramatic results that our friend shared with us. However, just again, full disclosure, not every Ashkenazi is going to get these numbers. I saw another person, Ashkenazi I know, got 30% Israelite. But nonetheless, everyone I see is getting them in the double digits compared to, let's say, Kelly and Benayah and Brown. Brown, we know, got 0% Israelite. I suspect that Kelly and Benayah probably got it as well, but we don't know. But with that said, let's now see how our Ashkenazi friend stacks up against the Ashkenazi average. So
Okay.
we're going to pull up the same population-wide results that we saw for Yeshua. Now we're going to pull it up for our friend here, and we're going to have that up in a moment. So this is like an individual Ashkenazi sample against the Ashkenazi average. This is what you're about to see here. And again, like I was attempting to say earlier, some Ashkenazim are scoring lower than the average, and some are scoring higher, and I guess that's why it's the average,
Right.
And
About to pull
exactly,
it up right now.
and that's, by the way, something to note for African Americans. The Ashkenazi community is diverse, and African Americans, the African diaspora, is diverse as well. If you consider yourself African American or part of the African diaspora in the Americas, just because, let's say, Will Brown or Kelly may or may not have gotten 0% Israelite, that doesn't mean you will. Everybody's admixture is different. Okay, so there we go. We have it up. And now I want to put another disclaimer. I think, or at least I think another disclaimer is here. Note that our friend, he got 70%. As you see that on the left, the column me towers over that. You see his column is the column all the way on the left, and then 3 columns to the right of that blue column is the Ashkenazi Jew average, which is 39%. So he's towering over them. But as a disclaimer, his 70% represents his highest match with an individual sample. That was the same case with Yeshua, right? Apparently, that's somewhat incongruous with the rest of this chart, which is showing how the modern populations matched against the tribal average, right? And I actually reached out to Elhaik, and he told me that the other columns are showing your tribal, their tribal average. So like where they, and with that in mind, we'll get to that in a moment. Actually, could we also pull up the sample matches that our
Yes.
friend
One
got?
moment. Yeah.
Sure.
One moment.
So just to be clear, just as we showed with the Yeshua, or as Yeshua showed, he showed how he scored against individual samples. Our friend, we're going to show what he got as well. And as we pull that up, so you're going to get different scores with different samples, and again, it's not always just about the Israelite admixture. If you have Yemnaya admixture, Bell Beaker admixture, or even Neolithic African admixture, that will be factored in as well. Okay, so here's his results against a bunch of samples in the tribe of Levi kit, and as you can see, there's a lot there, and his highest one is with a sample called Sered, right? And so with regards to Sered, I think the next thing we should show is how the sample that he matched most closely with looked across the same general categories. So that's going to be our next image, right? And so this will be, we previously showed the Hophni sample, which was the sample that Yeshua scored highest against. He got 14%. And I'm guessing that when Kelly said 15%, it was again against the Hophni sample. So another sample is the Setted sample. And our friend who shared his results, our Eastern Ashkenazi friend, he, the Setted sample, here it is right here. Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, the one on the left, it says the left chart shows in black your highest similarity to the ancient individuals in this test and your average genetic similarity to all the individuals in the test, right? So the pie chart on the left is how he scored against the highest sample. You see it's like 70%, over 70%. And I'm so sorry, if we could go right back
Oops,
to
my apologies. Wait.
no problem. It's no problem. I think just, yeah. I was gonna say, I think you just have to click to the right or something like that, because it seems like you have them in a row. But all right, no problem. So as I was saying, we'll have it up in a moment, and then I'll explain.
Yep, there it is. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So, oh no, this is I think
Nope.
this is Yeshua's results.
No, my
So
apologies.
you want to show, and we're actually going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So it's
Technical difficulties.
Levy
Yeah.
kit setted sample is what it's titled, right? Levy
I
kit
just had it
setted.
right here. Hold on. Let me.
No problem. And but then we'll be going to Yeshua's results as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a second, but continue.
Yeah. So what's important about what we're showing is you get two different scores, right? In the chart we're going to look at. On the left is your percentage against the sample that you scored highest against. Right, there we go. On the left, that's your score against the sample that you matched highest with. On the right is how you matched against the tribal average. So Elhaik's platform takes an average of all the samples within the kit and then talks about how you match against that. Now, this is important because when you see those averages in the modern population results, where like it says Ashkenazi 39%, Elhaik told me that's against the tribal average, while the individual results marked me, that column is against your highest sample. So there is a little bit of incongruence, and with that in mind, by the way, can we pull up Yeshub's? This is a G49 highest and average. It's going to be the same results for Yeshub.
Yep.
And he showed this, and we'll have this up in a moment. And so what's at issue here is perhaps the me columns for our various friends, whether it be Yeshub or our Eastern Ashkenazi friend, perhaps the me column should be a little bit lower in the population-wide results. Yeah, so here we go. So Yeshub scored 14% against an individual sample. That was Hophni. And now if we can scroll to the right, his score against the tribal average was, it looks like 6%, right? So perhaps his column, being that the other modern populations are being marked against the tribal average, perhaps his column should have been 6%. And so too our Eastern Ashkenazi friend who got over 70% in his me column, perhaps that should have been 58, because 58% was his score, against the average, the tribal average. Now, I'm guessing that Kelly and Banaya got something similar to what Yeshua got. So really, if the site were comparing apples to apples, like I said, it would compare the tribal average to the modern populations. So in that case, let's say if Kelly got like 6% or 7% against the tribal average, that would pale in comparison to the Ashkenazi average of being 39%. But hey, Kelly could say, hey, but you don't know what I got. And that would be fair. We don't know. But we would like to invite Kelly and Banaya to show the results. Now,
honest Kelly, right?
honest Kelly. Yes, our friend, the good doctor. Now, as for our Eastern Ashkenazi friend who scored well above the Ashkenazi average, I was wondering if well, actually, we showed that already. But actually, you know what? I feel like we showed everything. So in closing, I just want to say that to recap, you saw how Yeshua clearly showed his results, right? And our Ashkenazi friend shared screenshots of his results as well. And like I've said before, just a little while ago and earlier, we'd like to ask Banaya and Kelly to do the same, right? Don't make vague allusions to your results. Show us what you scored against the general categories. Show us your pie chart results for your highest match. And, aside from the general category, show us, the pie charts with your highest match with this individual sample and also your score against the tribal average, right? Please show that. And then show us how you stack up against Ashkenazis, against the Ashkenazi average in the Turkey tab of the population-wide results. However, if Kelly and Banaya continue to embargo the results, let's be fair. I think it's fair to say no one should take their claim seriously, right? And I don't know. I think we've shown everything. I don't know if you want to offer some comments on this.
Yes,
I think we wrapped
absolutely.
this up pretty quickly. This has been a beautifully succinct addendum.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it fascinating that our Eastern Ashkenazi friend scored significantly higher than they did, and yet in their initial, well, in the live stream that we were reviewing, the Eran Elhaik interview on Banaya Israel's channel, uh, it seemed to be the case that Banaya was seemingly alluding to the idea that somehow, uh, based on what they assumed Eran Elhaik was saying, that
Mm-hmm.
Ashkenazim were going to be scoring lower than African Americans.
Yeah,
It's
he made that leap.
yeah,
Yeah, actually, if I can comment, is it okay if I comment on that?
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. What excited them is here's something that they missed actually, right? Elhaik's platform will show things like, for example, a Palestinian might score higher than the average Ashkenazi. Not all of them, obviously, because some Ashkenazi is scoring quite high, but some Palestinians can score higher than some Ashkenazim. Some apparently Israeli Bedouins can score higher. Some Yemeni Jews can score higher than the Ashkenazi average, right? And so, Elhaik would make this statement about how when you compare Ashkenazim to Englishmen, Ashkenazim are closer to Palestinians than they are to Englishmen, right? And then he would say, but if you compare them to Palestinians and certain populations in the Caucasus, like Armenians, some Ashkenazim are apparently scoring closer to the Caucasus populations than they are to the Palestinians. And Banaya got excited about that because he felt it seems like Kelly did as well, because he felt like this is basically a way to discredit the Ashkenazim. But here's something they missed. When Elhaik said that Ashkenazim are scoring closer to Palestinians than they are to Englishmen, what that entails is that there are certain people out there that will fare even worse than the Ashkenazim do, right? So basically, what Elhaik was saying, and they missed, is that even if Ashkenazim are not meeting whatever Elhaik's standard is, his preferred standard, there are other populations that will do even worse, like Englishmen. And I think Kelly and Banaya made the mistake of thinking that they would just win by default. But it was Banaya who explicitly said that he's putting out a challenge. If your results are in dispute, if your connection to Israel is in dispute, then why don't you take one of these genetic proximity tests and let's see how you score. But and okay, fair enough. If you want Elhaik's platform to be the standard, okay, fair enough. But let's apply that standard equally. And so what applies to Ashkenazim should also apply to our good friends, Honest Banaya and Honest Kelly. If there's a dispute about your results, whether your proximity to Israel, why don't you show us what you got on
And
on
our
this
and our
platform?
Easter Ashkenazi friend took the challenge, and he scored higher than seemingly either gentleman, as far as what they've publicly disclosed. At least with Kelly, what did he say? 15%.
Yeah,
So
15% and something, and using Yeshub's results as a proxy, I'm guessing he meant 15%
yeah.
against an individual sample,
Well,
not
how about this?
15% Israelite.
How about this? Using William Brown, since William Brown
Mm-hmm.
is Kelly's cousin,
Yep.
since he got 0% Israelite, yet our Ashkenazi friend got 48% Israelite, then it seems to be the case that between William Brown and our Ashkenazi friend has the better chance of using Eran Elhaik as the model, so to speak.
Yeah.
If one is
Yep.
going to use Eran Elhaik's website as the barometer.
Mm-hmm. And
Crazy.
we saw the average, again, the population wide results for Ashkenazim. There's that 39%. It really does beg the question. Oh, by the way, regarding that average, as we said earlier, there's Ashkenazim who are scoring lower and there's Ashkenazim who are scoring higher. We showed a particular Ashkenazi friend who scored significantly higher, but again, it's an average. But the average is important because I don't think Kelly or Banaya are getting anywhere near that average. I suspect their results look like the results of Will Brown and Yeshub. So. And that, again, this isn't intended as a knock to anyone. This is
Right.
we're directing this because me personally, I'm going to say this: even if you get 0% Israelite on Elhaik's platform, that's not going to lead me to say you're not a patrilineal descendant of Jacob, right? Because I think it seems like it's somewhat low resolution with these third-party raw data kind of thing, from like 23andMe. So. Okay. And besides, I'm not into this thing of like determining paternal lineage across millennia based on autosomal results anyway, right? So I'm
Yeah.
not saying someone who gets 0% Israelite is therefore not a patrilineal descendant of Jacob, if that's what you're into. But the reason we're doing this is because Kelly and Banaya did that infomercial for Elhaik's platform, and they basically set it up as the standard. And so, as the saying goes, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
Let's judge Kelly and Banaya according to that standard. Or I notice
Well,
Orthodox
well, well,
special. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, special pleading. Well,
Yep.
so here's the thing. So it's interesting, right? Because the rule that they're trying to put forward, just as he said, is not the same rule that they're applying for themselves, right? They're
Mhm.
insisting that the other side work within a certain parameter that they themselves are not willing to work within, hence special pleading. But you know what's fascinating though? If we use their standard, remember, Banaya is the one that put the challenge out there. If we
Mhm.
go with his standard and we use Aaron Elhaik's website as the barometer, it seems to be the case that the Ashkenazis are winning and they're losing if we're using that website as the barometer.
Exactly. And if we're going to say that the Ashkenazim are failing to meet whatever Elhaik standard is, well, guess what? Some Hebrew Israelites are faring even worse by that standard. And I suspect that Kelly's fell way short and Benayah fell way short. And with all due respect, that's I think that's likely the explanation for why they haven't shown the results. I think if they, let's say hypothetically speaking, they got some result that's significantly higher than the Ashkenazi average, I think they would have shown it by now. But they didn't show it, and I think it's because they probably got results similar to Will Brown, who's their cousin, and and Yeshua. And by the way, I want to thank Yeshua for being so helpful and
Yeah.
being so public with his results, because it allows us to get a sense of how people are scoring in Elhaik's platform, and also our friend, our Eastern Ashkenazi friend, who also shared his results. I want to thank him as well. This is very helpful.
Yeah. Man, Alonzo with the Glock, man. Isn't that that's what they say about you, right?
Oh my goodness.
Out here catching philosophical bodies, man.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Well, thankfully you're not crooked like Alonzo, but
Mm.
unfortunately we can't say the same thing about our friends honest honest Will, honest Benayah, and honest Kelly.
Oh, but hey, people, ourselves included, people have cast aspersions on Will Brown, but hey, he's been more forthright with his results than Banaya and Kelly have. So if anyone wants to cast aspersions, on Will Brown, he was more forthright with his results. Let's be fair. Like I remember Dante, he had that thing where he said that Kelly had said in the past that that Will Brown has been shady with certain things. He's not been shady with this. He's been pretty clear and transparent and open, and I thank Will Brown for that. Thank you. Give credit where credit is due, and that's what I'm doing here. So he's been more
Well,
open than Kelly has. Let's
yeah.
just be fair. Whatever anyone wants to say about Will Brown, he's been more open, more transparent than Kelly and Banaya, and one has to wonder why.
Let's pray that he's dishonest when it comes to Richard Katz. Hopefully, he'll finally come clean and say, "You know what? I made it up." Which I think none of us are going to be surprised. I don't. I don't think there's a single one of us that would be surprised if William Brown actually admitted to what he did. But, you know, wishful thinking.
Mm.
Well, on that note, I think we can wrap it up here. I
Yep.
want to thank all of you in the live chat who were with us, and those of you who will watch this in the future. I want to thank my friend Abu. I want to thank our friend who provided his genetic results. Also want to thank Genesis 49ers for his results. And hopefully we can hope for the best, and maybe Kelly and Benayah will come around to some logical thinking at some point.
Mm.
Hopefully.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So on that note, I'm going to end things here. God bless you all. I hope this has edified someone out there. And until next time, take care. God bless you.
God bless.